Hello everybody and welcome back to Steve Plays Crisis in the Kremlin. I haven't played this game for a while. Sadly, I haven't uploaded a video on this game for quite a bit, and I've been busy, and I'm sorry. But yes, this should be probably the penultimate video, and yes, hopefully the audio quality is a bit better, because I got a new microphone. And also, I think this will be the first video where my new hair will be seen. It's not my favorite, but I think it's pretty good. Okay, so in the last video, we, as far as I can remember, we won the space race. We built the first man-made base on Mars, which is awesome. So, in terms of strength, the US is declining. Our military power is great. We've got total popularity in the nation. I do believe we went to autonomies, and now we can make the leaders of the Soviet republics communist. Again, I haven't played this for a while, so forgive me. But yes, let's just jump right back into it. So yes, let's do the next turn. Romanian Revolution. Ooh. Because of the horrible economic situation in Romania, poverty and hunger among its population, and gigantic debt, another wave of protests happened in the country, and soldiers shot the protesters. It led to a revolution, which quickly heats up in Romania. Now, the situation in Romania was a very complicated one in terms of the Eastern Bloc and the Warsaw Pact and stuff like that. I don't know enough about Ceausescu to talk about, and his regime, to talk about it at any kind of useful length. I'm not his biggest fan, but having said that, I don't really know much about him. I know that many people think he was a very tyrannical person. I know that many people died during his regime, but honestly, I am not in a position to offer any kind of constructive criticism because I just don't know. I'm going to do a lot more reading about it in the future. I do know, however, that in polls, over 60% of all Romanians wish they lived under Ceausescu. So, if that says something about the current situation and how things were back then who knows. We can insert the army to support Ceausescu's regime, which I'm not too big of a fan of, because as I mentioned, I'm not too big a fan of Ceausescu. And by the way, I am almost certain that I'm pronouncing his name wrong. I'm sorry if I am. Insert the army and overthrow the government. Don't attempt anything or support the actions of the revolutionaries. I'm gonna insert the army and overthrow the government because that makes a government that's pro-us. It's not Ceausescu, and that pisses off the West a bit, but who cares? Okay, our army destroyed most of the opposition, and after arresting Ceausescu, judged him on the tribunal and declared a new socialist government. There's a few spelling mistakes, but that's okay. So if we look at the map now and look at Romania, yeah, loyalty 80, socialist republic, that's all quite good. Now in these, we have this option because they've slightly democratized, and we can set Leninism, which makes them a lot more hardcore and loyal, and makes them more resistant to liberalization, which you have to be very careful about, because basically if you aren't careful, their liberalization will go through the roof, and that will push their loyalty down, and they will break away from the Warsaw Pact, and that makes you a lot weaker, and you obviously don't want that to happen. So one way to avoid that is to set Leninism, but we don't need to, because their loyalty is high, and that will really piss off China and America, and we don't really want to do that because we don't have any reason to. So we also have a lot of money to spend because we've managed to pull our economy out of the gutter that it starts in the beginning of the game, and we're making a lot of money, which is great. As far as I remember, we managed to pull France out of NATO because we pushed our diplomatic relations all the way up, which is great. So yeah, let's just keep spending it on good stuff. Yes, I want to push that up. I'm going to push soldiers' equipment up to 150, and I'm going to do the same with KGB next turn, because just to make sure our loyalty is secure, because there are some late game events, like revolutionary stuff in terms of Yeltsin and Gorbachev, and oh no, I think Gorbachev died in this playthrough. But yeah, we're just gonna have to take care of them, and it's good to have the support of the KGB and the army on your side. So, Islamic rebuilding. Recently, communistic regime came to power in Iran. That was like what? That was 10 years ago. This is a bit late. This is 1989 right now, and radical change from right Islamists to left. Oh, yeah, I'm completely mistook that. I thought that was talking about the Iranian revolution, but no, this is about the communist revolution that we led in Iran. Radical change from right Islamists led to left socialists to the instability and demanded more changes. As a result, government of Iran declared political and religious reforms. we will not let them do that because we want them to maintain our view of socialism. So we can send the army, which pisses off everybody, or we can impose sanctions. And that's worked so far in every playthrough that I've done, so I'm going to do that. Full economic isolation of Iran from all socialistic countries, save them from radical reforms. Great, so if we go take a look at Iran, yeah, socialist reformism, not bad. It's not the worst. We lost a bit of money on that, but that's okay. We're basically rolling in the cash at this point. Oil trade is slowly recovering, which is great because we've added new countries to Comecon, such as Syria and Laos and Cambodia. It's great, and obviously China. I think we can get access to their market. Yes, that's awesome. That definitely boosts our economy. So yeah, let's go next turn. Polish trade union solidarity. Comrade, arguments take place about a legalization of solidarity trade unions, which is banned in 1982. This trade union illegally operates in Poland while criticizing Soviet power. It unites all people with anti-Soviet opinions, nationalists, liberals, anarchists, everybody. What should we do? This seems very dangerous and problematic for our stranglehold on Europe, so let's see what we can do. We can't give up Soviet achievements. Absolutely not. I think the Polish government can deal with it. That basically lets the Polish government liberalize and lose loyalty, and we do not want that. So we will eliminate the leaders of the trade union. Today, the leaders of the trade union were eliminated. Solidarity gained a reputation of victims of dictatorships, and Polish citizens tend to support them. That'll be fine. Let's see. Yeah, that's okay. Liberalization 15, you see, it's important that we don't let that get out of hand. Okay, rolling in the cash, and our relations with everybody are good because of our diplomatic actions, so that's good. So we managed to increase our state mechanism and bump KGB back to 150. So yeah, we should be good. By the way, state mechanism, I don't know if I've mentioned this before, but it's extremely important because the larger your state becomes in terms of industry and other countries that you have to, it's like the main like umbrella system that encompasses everything, and it's extremely important to keep it well funded because, you know, you need your state to run well. Panama invasion. This is a very interesting event. It is not a secret that the USA and Panama have very tense relations. Evidence of it is appearing since the middle of the 1980s when the American side decided to rethink the Panama Canal Treaty and the recent events when a state of war with the USA was declared. But until this morning, the situation wasn't that critical. Recently, we received an important intel from our generals. Documents show the communications of American military, which discussed the transfer of armed divisions to Panama and executing the Just Cause plan, which is an overthrow of Noriega and installing the US power. Generals await your orders. They assume that the operation will begin in a few days. Basically, America going on with acts of imperialism and trying to invade Panama, and that's, by the way, where the name for the That's where the name for the game Just Cause comes from, because of the American plan. Okay. We can't support the West, obviously. We can send information and aid Panama. As far as I know, that does nothing. We can declassify the USA plan in the UN. That's a very interesting one. If you're not playing as Stalinist or Trotskyist, I think, that's the best one to choose. And that basically lowers the American opinion throughout the world and helps destroy NATO. And it obviously also, well, maybe not so obviously, but it really lowers American public opinion, which helps bring America down, so that's great. But we will protect Panama, because that adds another member to Comecon, and, well, the more the merrier. So, okay. The USA invasion of Panama became a bloody failure for Americans. During the first hours of operation, American forces faced a strong resistance from the Panamanians. Panamanians? Moreover, international fighting brigades consisting of Russian and other USSR nationalities were noticed. Also, Americans were surprised that the Panamanian soldiers, I believe that's meant to be soldiers, were armed by Soviet weapons, both light and heavy. Knowing almost everything about every step of the Americans, Panama crushed their forces in 3 days. Many American soldiers and even the military high command weren't ready for such an open Soviet intervention. After that, the USA signed a peace treaty with and POWs exchange. Army was withdrawn in a few days. Then Panama, I think they mean Panama, embraced the socialistic reforms and asked for Comecon membership. After this defeat, USA accused USSR of patronizing dictatorship and drug trade in South America. It's funny that the USA should say that. Very funny indeed. Well, that's great. Now if we look on the map, we lost a bit of money, but that's okay. And America hates us, so we're gonna have to do it detente, but that's okay, we have tons of money. But if we look here, Panama is now in Comecon, so that's beautiful. Kuropatty. Urgently, thousands of Belarusians led by nationalistic organization BNF decided to celebrate Day of Memory near the place Kuropatty. Kuropat, I have no idea how that's pronounced, where a lot of civilians were killed during Stalinism, as claimed by an archaeologist, Nikola Krvalcevic, who supports BNF, KGB footnote. They demand to admit this fact. We can't lie to our people. We can claim it was done by German warmongers, but this says it's a claim, implying that it's only a lie. I'm gonna do that, because once again, I know about a lot. That's making me sound like a pretentious asshole, but I think I'm very well versed in terms of Soviet history in the Stalin period. But this is a detail that I'm not very familiar with, so once again, as with Ceausescu, I'm not exactly in a place to discuss it. So I'm just going to say the thing that, in terms of gameplay mechanics, is the most logical one, which is to say it was done by German warmongers. Soviet government didn't admit the fact that civilians were executed near Kuropati. They claimed that the population was killed by German warmongers, which is the most logical response, I suppose. Okay, I'm amazed at how much money we're making. Let's see how America's doing. Okay, they're declining, that's great. Are we still supporting terrorism in America? Yes, that's excellent. That is very good. Let's see. Let's put more money into atom technology, because that's very important, because that makes us a lot stronger, a lot more intimidating, so let's do that. It's one of the ways to decrease their army power is to make your nuclear arsenal very strong, and ours is very good. And if you want to go to nuclear war, that's one of the endings in this game, is nuclear war, and it counts as a victory, but it's very heavily implied that it's not really a victory, and it really isn't, because, you know, nuclear holocaust. But if you really want to do it, there's a very good guide on the Steam discussion group, and maybe I'll do a video on it. I will actually do a video. That's a really good idea. I just thought of that. I will make a video about that. Okay, next turn. The new level of threat. Yep, that makes sense. DEFCON. Begin the detente. That's okay. We can spare the cash. Next turn. Igor Talkov. Urgently. I think they mean urgent. Popular in our country rock musician Igor Talkov, who is known for songs like Clear Waters, Memory, and CPSU, began to write songs which criticize us as anti-national bureaucratic elite, which tries to destroy our country. However, if we shut him up, protest can appear because of his popularity. Yeah, Igor Talkov was a very, very, very popular folk singer. My parents even talk about him once in a while. He was very popular, and he died young. He was shot and killed very tragically, and a lot of counter-revolutionary assholes and revisionists say that it was done by the Soviet government, and honestly it doesn't make any sense, because he was not an anti-Soviet singer. Most of his songs weren't very political. As I said, he was mostly a folk singer. He's unlike that other one, I forget his name at the moment, that's kind of embarrassing, but a very famous Russian singer who's in one of the events as well. Oh, it's embarrassing that I can't remember his name. It'll come to me. But yes, his songs were very highly politicized and very, very highly against the Soviet leadership. Igor Talkov was not the same. He was mainly just a singer. So the claims that he was shot by the Soviet government are a bit, you know, silly, in my opinion. Feel free to disagree. We will not ban from him performing. We will not arrest him. It's his right. Soon there will be a new album of a popular rock musician, Igor Talkov. It is known from an interview in which he also claimed that Lenin was ordered to destroy the Russian Empire, and that the government received the same order to destroy the Soviet Union. Not sure what that's about, but okay. Okay, so it's almost the end of 1989. This has been a bit of a dragged out video. I'm sorry I've been talking so much, but there's a lot to talk about in this game. Yeah. Mobile escape. Now, comrade, we have urgent news. Soviet hockey player Alexander Mogilny escaped to the USA. This was a big event. Yeah, sadly, we can't just let it happen, because we're playing as Stalinist, so we just have to capture him. So let's do it. Today, hockey player Alexander Mogilny was secretly delivered back to the USSR, where he was prosecuted for betrayal. Fair enough. Let's see, yeah. So let's go. World Festival. Primary themes of the festival is peace, rights, and youth, independency of nations, propaganda of internationalism, communistic, socialistic, and religious... What? Okay, I'm sorry. Sometimes these errors get to me. Festivals were attended by youth who are against fascism and military dictatorships. Radical left-wing organizations were allowed to take part in it, including those which are legal in their home countries. We talked a lot about horrors of fascism and the New World War. Now it is time for another World Festival, youth and students. Which slogan will we choose now? Oh, this is juicy. Victory over imperialism, solidarity, and Marxist changes. Against imperialism, for solidarity and social justice. While respecting our past, we build our future. For peace, solidarity, and social changes. Very interesting. We'll do solidarity and Marxist changes because that's the message, man. In the 1980s, the festival, which was created for the sake of free communication, became a strict and formal event. During the festival, Soviet citizens who weren't part of the delegations were banned from communicating with foreigners, and the program of the festival was designed in order for foreigners to speak only with the most trusted and loyal men. Not sure how that relates to the choice that I made, but okay. Yeah, America, ooh, they've bounced back a bit. That's a bit concerning, so let's, I'm just inclined to just do a lot of spending. Because we can afford it, so why the hell not, am I right? So yeah, having spent a lot of money, let's see, Intervision. The song competition Intervision, a song contest created by the International Radio and Television Organization. It took place in Sopot during 1977 to 1980s, okay, with 4 international song festivals of Sopot. We can try to recreate it after its cancellation because of instability in Poland. We could also take part in Eurovision, or we could just ignore it. Oh no, we are not doing Eurovision, that's terrible. We can't not do anything, that's just a bit weak. So yes, we will recreate the festival, because we can afford it. For the 3rd time, we took the 1st place during the Intervision, having the same amount of gold medals as the country with the most awards, Czechoslovakia. Everyone is satisfied and money wasn't wasted. I agree. I love this song. Everything is quiet, that's good. So yeah, our influence is kind of spreading, and that's good because I'm gonna start funding countries in Africa and South America to have revolutions because that's important. Let's see which ones have the higher revolution level because that helps us win the war against the West, and that's obviously very important. So okay, we're gonna try to go for the countries with the highest revolution level, and that's Mauritania, Mali, Niger, Chad, Côte d'Ivoire, Senegal, Nigeria. We've got a lot of money to spend, and this will probably tank our reserve, but we gotta do it. This is a lot of countries that are quite high in the revolution level. Obviously, the ones that are pro-American are a bit lower, so we're gonna go for... Oh no, that's subsidies. We're gonna go for the neutral ones, so to speak. As they were called back at the time, third world countries, because that's what third world countries meant at the time. Countries that weren't in the Soviet or American camps. It's interesting. We're going to let all our money go to the reserve because these subsidies are going to really tank our reserve. Actually, that's not as bad as I expected it to be. Let's see, a few more turns. Wow, that's honestly not as... Oh my god, wow. Okay, so a bunch of them already flipped, so let's start subsidizing them already, because that's good. Because the more countries that are red, the weaker America is, and that's basically what we're trying to do. Yep, that's all peachy. Anything we can subsidize in South America. Yeah, we're doing cooperation with France. I don't know why we're not doing that anyway, but okay. Suriname, we'll subsidize you. That's the Soviet anthem in English. It's pretty good. Do any of y'all want some revolution? No? They doesn't... Ooh, Honduras. Yes, please. Haiti? Nope. Or Haiti. I honestly never know how to pronounce that correctly, and that's kind of embarrassing. A few more turns. No? CPSU Congress 1990. We will peacefully organize the Congress because we are solidly in power. Yeah, we don't need any help there. Let's see. Yeah, look at that. Beautiful. Let's subsidize the crap out of these countries. Who needs some subsidies? You get some subsidies. And you get some subsidies. Everybody gets some subsidies. That's going to tank our reserve, but that's okay. United Yemen. This is an important event as well. In 1980, after conservative communist Abdul Fattah went to Moscow because of health concerns, he was replaced by Ali Nazir, who began moderate economical reforms and improved trade relations with Arab countries. However, in 1985, Fattah returned and fight between them began. In 1986, when Nasser tried to organize a coup and execute the party, I don't know what that means, army and special services sided with Fattah. During small civil war, both leaders died together most of the military command. They were replaced with moderates, who improved relations with neighbors. Now, after long negotiations with North Yemen, leader of PDRY Ali Salam asked permission to unite Yemen while becoming neutral. That's interesting. So basically what we can do is support unification, which is no benefit to us. We can just say no, which also is no benefit to us, or we can initiate retirements and install true communists in Yemen, which basically makes South Yemen a pro-Soviet country, which is great, so we will do that. While leaders of the PDRI were negotiating with you in Moscow, a coup took place in their country and power was seized by radical left groups. Former leaders followed your advice and decided to stay in the USSR after retiring due to health concerns. A new government cancelled negotiations with their neighbor and began the elimination of all capitalistic property, forcing the country to follow socialistic ideals. And we gave them a small loan. Sure. So let's see. Now South Yemen is pro-Soviet, and we don't have to worry about uniting them because later in the game we get an event to invade basically the entire Arab Peninsula, which is great. But yes, I hope you enjoyed this video. I'm going to end it here for now. Thank you for watching. Like and subscribe. Leave any comments in the comments below, and I will see you in the next video. Bye-bye.